All right, guys, we got this. Let's go. Gun right, triple E. Close, let's go. On one.
Ready?
Ready.
What's up, guys? It's Pick'em with HuddleGG, and today we're going to talk about one of the more unique plays in all of college football 25, and it's one of my favorite plays as well, and that play is shallow screen out of the spread double flex formation, and there's a few reasons why I like this play so much. One, we can use it against man, we can use it against zone, and also you're able to run this in the middle of the field, you're able to run it in the red zone, so you have a lot of flexibility with this play, and it's also part of my USC offensive game plan, which we dropped over at HuddleGG. So if you do like what you see in today's video, make sure you head on over there and check out the rest of that game plan today. Now that being said, let's dive right into it. And if we look at this play art here, you're going to see that this Y route is very unique because of the depth of the route. Okay, so you can see he's on this drag or this shallow cross, and then we have the three blockers to the right. But for context for this route but from the Y receiver, if we simply hot route him to a drag, you can see that it's about 3 yards deeper if we do a drag. So by using the stock route on this little shallow cross, it's going to really be tougher on the user to defend versus a normal drag because of how shallow it is, because he almost hides behind those linemen at times or hides in those offensive linemen at times. And again, just makes it a lot more difficult on the user. And you can run this play stock, and we'll talk about that here first. And we'll also talk about in this video 2 different setups we can use to adjust to depending on how our opponent's playing it. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But when we are running at stock, the only thing we really want to focus on is the timing of the throw. Okay, so when we want to throw it is when that Y receiver is getting to about the center, right? So as soon as he's getting to where our center's at, that's about the time where we want to throw it, and I'll show you the reason why. So if we say hike here, you're going to see if we throw it right there, we're going to be able to catch that, we're going to be able to set those blocks up, and we're going to be able to turn that into an easy 10 to 15 yards there on that play before the defense was really even able to contact us. Okay, so if we run that one more time, again, you can see here with that Y receiver, we're going to throw it right about that center. We're going to set those blocks up. We're going to be able to turn this into some easy yardage down the field. And it's a very simple concept where you don't really have to read the defense a ton to make this work, which is what's really nice about this play as well. So if we look at this play out here, or at this play in the replay, you're going to see as soon as he's getting ready to cross that center, we're going to try to throw that ball. And that's going to allow us to set up these 3 blockers. So at that point, we have enough spacing between us and the blockers where we can really determine where we want to run with this to maximize the potential of this play down the field. Now, I will say when you catch this, you don't want to hold sprint until you get past these blockers because it will allow them to hold their blocks a little bit longer. So I'm not holding sprint until I really get the edge there or I pick the route that I'm going to run. Now, if we look at this again and we throw this late, again, like I said, if we're running this stock, it is important of when the timing is. Okay, so if we look at this here and we throw this really late, you're going to see that we're not going to be able to get the blockers set up because we're getting out leveraged there at that point because we threw it way too late in the play, right? So if we say hike, or if we look at the replay here again, we say hike, you see here, we're late to this and we throw it once he's getting to the blockers. By the time we catch it, our blockers are to the inside, and now this defense is leveraged to the outside, and we're not going to be able to set up these blocks at this point. We'd have to get lucky and make these people miss, maybe break a tackle. We don't want to count on that. So again, when you're running this play stock, the key to this is making sure that you do pass it right as he's passing that center. Now, before we do go any further, I do want to let you know about a sale we're running right now over at HuddleGG, which is the best deal you're going to find on any tip site for either college football or Madden. From now until the end of August, our pro subscription for the site is 50% off, and you get to keep that price for as long as you remain an active subscriber. So if you lock in your subscription at that $9.95 monthly rate, you'll have that pro subscription at that specific rate for as long as you stay active. There isn't a better deal in the tip space that you're going to find, and I do want to highlight one of the advantages to our pro subscription with our offensive coordinator tool. This is a tool that isn't found anywhere else in the community, and it'll help you always be in the right play regardless of what your opponent is running. You simply select the coverage on the right side of the screen, and it'll populate the best plays in that game plan to attack those specific coverages. Again, this is just one of the many benefits to our pro level subscription and something you don't want to miss out on. So head over to HuddleGG today to claim this offer. Now, one question that I do hear sometimes is what happens if the user defends this route? And that is a very good question, because if we look at our player on the stock play, you're going to see that we really only have one route going across the middle of the field. It is that Y receiver, and the user can start to pick up on that, and you will notice that a good user is going to start to play that and take that away. Now, this adjustment is what we use if we notice that happening throughout the game. Now, what we want to do is we want to put our outside receiver on the left in a deep dig. Okay, now I personally like to motion him in from there. You can leave him out here. You just will have to wait a little bit longer to throw this. I like to motion him in and have this alignment here because it puts more pressure on the user. Okay, now again, we're assuming that this user here is going to cover the Y on that shallow drag. And what that's going to do is it's now going to open up the middle of the field for this deep dig. So if we say hike here, you're going to see that deep dig is going to open up. We're going to throw that down and away from those safeties and get ourselves an easy completion. Now, if we look at the replay here real quick, what you're going to see is it's going to put a lot of pressure on this middle of the field user, right? He's going to have to play aggressively down towards this. And if he does, that's going to open up this dig over the middle. Like I said, just pass lead this down and away from those safeties. And I do like to possession catch that. I don't want to try to do a rat catch because those safeties are in position where they are able to hit you and try to cause that knockout. But if we possession catch that, you're going to get good animation the majority of the time. Make sure you get that completion. Now you see here, even on this play, we still could have technically thrown the drag because we do beat that user over the middle of the field. But if that user plays really aggressively out in front of this route, that opens up this dig even more. Let's run it one more time just to show you the consistency here with that. So again, if we put that guy on a deep dig to the outside and we motion him in, again, this is assuming that this middle of the field defender is going to be chasing our shallow screen that we've ran time and time again. And that's now going to open up this dig over the middle. We're going to throw that. We're going to possession catch that. And we're going to be able to get that easy completion if they do start to play down aggressively towards the screen. This last adjustment we talk about may be my favorite for this entire play. And we're actually going to get rid of this Y receiver's route for this setup. Now, what we want to do is we want to motion this Y receiver across the formation. We want to put him on a wheel. We're going to put the running back on a swing to the right. And we're going to put the solo receiver on a slant. So this is what the play art's going to look like. And the reason why I love this setup is based off of how the defense moves and aligns. We're going to have a really easy pre-snap read of where we're going. Now, the two options on this play is we're either going to throw it to the running back on a swing to the right and set up that swing screen, or we're going to throw it to the backside solo receiver on the slant. Now, you can see here no one motioned with that Y receiver, so it now gives us the numbers advantage to the right side of the screen. You can see they have the two DBs close and then the deep safety, but we have three players over there that can block for the running back. We have the two blockers, and then we have that wheel route as well. So if you don't see them motion with it and really stack the right side of this formation, we're going to now just throw it to this running back on the swing to the right. You're going to see here, we're going to say hike. We already know we're throwing to this. We're going to throw, we're going to follow the blockers, and you can see there, we're going to have the space for some huge yardage here down the field. If we look at the replay here real quick, you're going to see, again, we have these three guys that are able to be blockers, and they, because again, their look pre-snap, they have this guy, and the deep safety. So we have the numbers advantage because we have a blocker for every defender they have over here. So what we're going to do is we're already going to know that we're going to throw this. So as soon as we say hike, we're going to plant our feet. We're going to throw that ball. And now you can see we have our block set up. And we're going to be able to get that wheel down the field to make that block on the safety. And that's actually an adjustment that's a little bit different than the game plan. In the game plan, I talk about putting that inside receiver on a flat route. But I have found that I do like the wheel a little bit better because he gets down the field and blocks better for those deeper defenders, which is typically who he's targeting anyways. Now, like I said, depending on the pre-snap alignment, it is going to tell us where we are going to throw this ball. So if they are in something like a cover one or a man style defense, where when we motion this guy over and we set it up the exact same, right? We're going to motion him over, we're going to put him on a wheel, we're going to swing the running back to the right, and then we are going to put that solo receiver on a slant. Now you can see, and what you'll see a lot of times is this guy will actually step over here with the user. Sometimes you'll see something like this. If they're really attacking heavy to that right side of the screen, now they have no flat defender to the left. So now we're going to take advantage of that. And now we know that we want to throw that slant to the backside. So if we see this alignment where they're attacking really heavy to that 4x1 side that we've just created, or that 4 receiver side that we've just created, now we're going to go back to that solo receiver on that slant. And in the game plan, I do talk about how I like to throw this slant. So I'll show you here. If we say hike, what we're going to do is we're just going to throw this. I like to throw it back shoulder to keep it away from that safety. And it's going to be an easy 5+ yards for us because, again, there's no flat defender out there. So if we see this alignment pre-snap, we're going to say hike. And we already know it's one-on-one out here. And we're going to throw this. You see how that DB is typically over the top of our receiver? I like to throw this back shoulder, right on that back hip or back shoulder, just to allow him to catch that and not allow that DB to make a play on the ball. Sometimes if you throw it out in front of that receiver, that DB can make a play a lot better. But if you throw it to this back hip or back shoulder, it's going to be a spot where that DB can't really get to, and it's going to be an easy completion for us. Now, like I said, it's not something that we really are expecting to get a ton of yards on if we're throwing that backside slant, but it is an easy 5 yards. So again, if we motion that guy over and we see that they're really aggressively playing over there with their alignment, now we can just look backside to this slant route, and we're going to be able to throw this. Again, I like to throw that on that back hip, back shoulder, and get ourselves an easy 5+ yards there with that slant.